Welcome to part 3 of Don't Say Schwarzenegger. In this part, I'm going to be going over what occurred in the aftermath immediate in the first week or two after the assaults in 2015. Now, over those next several weeks, I was prescribed a lot of stuff to deal with the pain. I was recovering from a traumatic brain injury. Everything was swollen, bruised. It was a lot, but we still managed to get down to the police station and see doctors constantly over those next couple of weeks because we had to. About 8 to 10 days after the incident occurred, me, my brother, pretty much victims and support people came with us to go down to the Venice Police Department, or it's on Venice Boulevard, it's not in Venice, the LAPD. We went down there so that we could do a photo lineup, so we could pick out, they give you all the photos of the suspects and then other people, and then you have to circle which one or recognize this one, and this is what this person did to me, and you write it down. And then you do it for each person over and over and over, and then we give our witness statements in person. And I remember when we pulled the car over, we parked and we were walking into the LAPD that day, and I had a neck brace and my face is out to here and a black eye and cuts and bruises. And my brother had 2 black eyes and tons of, just really bad injury. And we walk up to the front, and there's a door to the left and a door to the right at the LAPD, and there happened to be a couple of officers walking past. And so we said, "Hi, which door do we use? Which way do we go in?" And they look us up and down, and they said, "Oh, traffic accidents is that way." And we said, "We're not a traffic accident." And they were like, "Oh, sorry, then go in that door." And that was just, it was a little weird. It was also a little like comic relief, like, wow, we look that bad. We look like we just got in a major car accident. Awesome. So we go in, and there's several officers tending to us, but specifically there is one, and his name is Sergeant Yearwood. He's retired now. In fact, I think he retired just a few months after that day when he was dealing with us and taking our statements down and everything. So we're in there, we're talking, and I need you to remember at this point, nobody knows. They have their names, the police have their names, they have photos of them that people had sent them and everything, but nobody knew who they were connected to yet. So at this point, this was being dealt with in a normal way. So I remember sitting at the table with everybody with me and the police officer, and Sergeant Yearwood starts to tell us what they have so far on the drizzes. And what he told us was pretty wild. He said, "Okay, so yeah, we know that Alberto and Maurice were celebrating their 60th birthday last week, and everybody was there for that." He said, "So we found out that the Drizzes had rented a room or a guest house or something at a Bel Air mansion that the LAPD had previously busted for schmex workers working there. And this house in Bel Air, this mansion, had been used for that purpose. And so the Drizzes had rented a room for the night on their special birthday night at this mansion. So the LAPD found out about this. They contacted the woman who was in charge of this business, this mansion, and he tells us this entire story in front of multiple people. So we're all just like jaws on the ground, like, what? I mean, this tracks that they have to pay for that. But yeah, okay, keep going. So Sergeant Yearwood then proceeds to tell us, he's like, "So we got a hold of the woman that runs it. And when we said their names, Maurice and Alberto, do you have any information? When are they coming back? Do you have anything, their cell phone numbers?" The woman was like, "Those guys? Yeah, I have all the information for you because they treat the girls here like crap. So what do you need to know? You got it." So again, very consistent with the behavior and the character of these guys. So the woman was like, "You got it." And she just handed over that cell phone number of Maurice Driz like that. So Sergeant Yearwood goes, these guys, they don't know that we're onto them. They don't know that we have, statements and blah, 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 blah. Like, they don't know yet. We haven't made contact with them. But we're going to do it right now in front of you guys on speakerphone. So we're sitting there like, what? Like, oh my God, this is crazy. So just waiting to see them already start lying, we were just like, let's do this. So he calls Maurice's cell on speakerphone while we're sitting there like, Jesus. And Maurice picks up. And Sergeant Yearwood proceeds to just play like, good cop, where he's like, hey, this is Sergeant so-and-so. Don't worry, you're not in any trouble at all, but we just heard that you might have been present or a witness to an incident that happened at the Nice Guy last week. And we just wanted to see if there's any information you could give us that would be really helpful to our case. And you could hear like gulp through the speakerphone. And he Maurice goes silent for a little bit, and he goes, no, no, it was a pretty quiet eventless night. It was a nice evening. It was our birthday, but other than that, can't really remember anything that would be of importance to you. Sorry. And the officer was like, okay, you sure? There's nothing? You didn't see anything? Because, some girl got hurt there. So maybe you could. And he's like, no. And you know what, officer? My attorney is Robert Shapiro. So if you have any more questions, you should contact him. And by the way, I'm losing you. Bye. And then he hangs up. So this goes down, and we're like, oh my gosh, he's having heart palpitations right now. Oh my gosh. And then we're like, whoa, he just dropped Robert Shapiro. He's got him on retainer. Like, wow, okay. So we're there for another 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour. And we're still giving statements. We're asking them questions. They're asking us questions. And we're still sitting at this same desk that we just did this whole call at. And while we're sitting there talking to Sergeant Yearwood, he was really nice to us, by the way. Talking to Sergeant Yearwood, an LEO, a law enforcement officer, that's LEO. An LEO walks over, and he's hurrying over. And by the way, leading up to this moment, all the police officers, like when they saw our injuries, they had already been talking about our case leading up. So when we walked in, there was definitely a sense of like, they were being really nice to us, and little smiles, little pats on the back, and like, can I get you coffee? Can I get you water? Like a lot of that going on. So we're sitting there. About an hour goes by after this phone call had happened, and this officer comes over, hurries over, and he whispers, and he's got this look on his face like, Sergeant Yearwood. And he goes over and he whispers in his ear. And I just kind of like went and pretended I was fumbling on my phone, but I was hearing every single word because I was about 2 feet away. And I hear this officer whisper into his ear, Sir, Robert Shapiro is here, and he's with them. Them meaning the defendants. I gotta say, there was a sense of like starstruck, like the Robert Shapiro, the guy that got OJ off, like that was the kind of the vibe I got from this officer as he whispers that. And Sergeant was like, oh, okay, let's see what happens, let's deal with that, whatever. So apparently Shapiro, within, like, obviously Maurice called him immediately after this phone call, and Shapiro was like, and told him what really happened. And then Shapiro was obviously like, okay, you're gonna be arrested, so we need to get you down to the LAPD and turn yourself in immediately, because or else you're gonna have cops at your door, at your mansion, at your luxury Beverly Hills condo. We can't have that. I'm gonna bring you down there myself, and we'll get you fingerprinted, mugshots, everything, and I'll get you in and out, So they did. So he brought him down there. And like, by the way, they all live in Beverly Hills and stuff. This is way down south on Venice Boulevard. Like, this is far. This is like, it's like a 40-minute drive at least. So they all took about 3 minutes to get ready and shot themselves down there. Like, it was crazy. So this all happens, and I start to have a little bit of a meltdown in the LAPD because I'm like, I can't be in the same room with them. And then we were ready to leave, and we were like, I can't bump into them. So they made a point of making sure that the defendants all left in one exit and that we left in another, and they walked us to our car so there would be no crossover. Thank God. That was very nice of them. An LAPD officer told us on the very next time we had a meeting, we were talking about all this, and an LAPD officer told me, I wrote this down on a little flashcard because I had a brain injury, but I wanted to remember everything. So an LAPD cop told us when Shapiro walked the defendants into the police station that day, Shapiro asked an officer, did they really beat up a girl? Officer said, yeah. And Shapiro said, those mother-ers, F word. So, yeah. 10 minutes is up soon. Okay, I might post another part today because I had so much more to say. So thanks for following along, and thank you so much, everybody, for all the sweet and kind, supportive comments. I'm going to keep going. Thanks.